Welcome back to our podcast, everyone. Today, I want to tell you something very down to earth, almost too normal, but also surprisingly philosophical. Yesterday, I spent half a day in a bank branch. Yes, an actual physical bank with chairs, numbers, air conditioning that's too cold, and people who look like they've been waiting since 1999.
Ah, the bank. The modern temple of boredom. The place where time stretches, hope dies, and your ticket number is always 10 digits away from being called.
Exactly. But it turned into a whole adventure for me. I went there to solve something simple. I needed to update my personal information and ask about a strange transaction. You'd think it's a 10-minute thing, but no, it became my entire day. That's why I jokingly call it my daily routine at the bank.
Please tell me you at least brought snacks. Surviving a bank without snacks is like surviving a desert without water.
I didn't. That was mistake number one. But let me start from the beginning. I walked in at around 10 a.m., feeling very optimistic. The bank was kind of busy, but not too bad. I took a ticket from the machine, number 427, and they were serving 361.
Oh no, that's not a queue. That's a life sentence.
I thought, okay, it's fine. I'll wait. So I sat down. On one side of me was an elderly man loudly complaining about interest rates to no one in particular. On the other side was a woman filling out forms like she was taking an exam. I swear she had a whole binder. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking about how banks always smell like printer toner and existential dread.
Accurate. Banks have a smell of adult responsibilities. No one goes to a bank for fun. Everyone is either stressed, confused, or pretending they understand financial terms.
I always wonder about that. Who steals bank pens? What kind of outlaw walks out thinking, yes, this is my pen of victory?
Someone living on the edge.
Anyway, around 11 a.m., something interesting happened. A woman stormed in with the energy of someone who has already argued with 3 people that morning. She went straight to the counter and said, "I don't care about the queue. I just need someone to fix this right now." Of course, everyone stared at her like she'd declared war.
Oh yes, the queue disruptor. Every bank has one.
The employee gently told her to take a number. She sighed so loudly that even the printers got quiet. Then she sat down and immediately started telling the man next to her her entire bank history. I learned way too much about her credit card issues.
Banks are great for unintentional eavesdropping. People forget you can hear everything.
Exactly. Finally, after 1 hour, the screen showed now serving 390. Progress, but not enough to celebrate. I went to get water from their tiny cooler, the kind that gives you existential crisis because the paper cups are so small you're basically drinking air.
That water always tastes suspiciously like sadness.
At one point, I started talking to the elderly man next to me. He told me he'd been coming to this branch for 20 years, and it never changes. He also told me his cat is named Spoon and that she hates thunderstorms.
Honestly, I would also talk to an older man about his cat named Spoon. That's content.
Around noon, a consultant finally became free and called for number 427. I felt like I had won a Nobel Prize. I walked into her little glass office, and she looked exhausted, like she had aged 10 years that morning.
The bank ages its employees too. Every hour equals a year.
She asked what I needed. I explained, and she nodded like someone who has heard the same problem 300 times. She typed slowly and with deep concentration, like every keystroke mattered for the universe's stability. Then she disappeared into the employees-only room for 15 minutes.
Classic. They always vanish. It's part of their ritual, like banking meditation.
At one point, I started thinking she might never come back. Maybe she quit? Maybe she was abducted by paperwork. But then she returned with 3 forms, a folder, and 2 stamps. She explained everything in bank language, which sounds like normal English, but isn't. I just nodded and pretended to understand.
No one understands bank speak. It's a foreign language delivered with confidence, so you can't question it.
In the end, everything got resolved, but it took 3 hours. I left the bank mentally drained, but weirdly proud, like I had survived something. My daily routine at the bank turned into a full psychological study.
And the question is, would you do it again?
Not willingly. Next time, I'll try online again, even if the website crashes.
So, what did you learn from all of this?
That patience is a muscle, and that everyone in a bank is either confused, frustrated, or both, and that time slows down the moment you enter the building.
Beautiful, philosophical, traumatic. Everything a bank should be.
So, Anna, after surviving your bank branch expedition, did your day go back to normal, or did the bank consume the rest of your energy like a spiritual vacuum cleaner?
Oh, it absolutely consumed me. When I walked outside, the sunlight felt unreal, like I'd been in a cave. I literally stood on the sidewalk for a minute, just blinking, trying to remember what year it was.
That's what banks do. You enter thinking it's morning and leave looking like you've traveled through time. You went in at 10 a.m. and came out emotionally at least 5 years older.
Honestly, yes. And the funniest thing, the moment I stepped out, my phone buzzed with a notification from the bank app saying, "Did you know you can complete most operations online?" I felt personally attacked.
Oh, that was the app mocking you. Banks love reminding you about online services right after you waste hours in the branch.
I was tempted to throw my phone, but decided I needed it to recover emotionally. I walked to a nearby cafe because I needed food and coffee and emotional support. I felt like if someone had asked, "Are you okay?" I would have cried.
Banks have that effect. They drain your emotional battery to 1%. You move around like a sim character with the red plumb bob flashing.
I ordered a cappuccino and sat down, trying to regain brain function. And I realized something weird. Being in a bank is like being in a psychology experiment. You see people's true personalities when they're dealing with paperwork and waiting.
Oh, yes. Banks reveal the soul. How someone behaves in a bank says more about them than any personality test. The patient, the panicker, the complainer, the rule breaker, the "why is my life like this" philosopher, the "I'll tell you my whole life story" stranger.
Exactly. And I met all of them. I did my own internal analysis. For example, the man with Spoon, the cat, he was the philosopher type, quietly reflecting on interest rates and thunderstorms. The woman with the binder, the prepared overachiever. And the lady who tried to skip the queue, definitely the rule breaker.
And you?
I was the existential observer. I sat there thinking, why am I here? What does waiting mean? Who invented forms? How does time slow down only in banks? It felt like a mini midlife crisis.
You basically had a spiritual awakening between ticket numbers.
I did, and it continued even after the bank. I started analyzing how much of adult life is waiting. Waiting in lines, waiting for documents, waiting for approval. Society trains us to wait.
That's deep. Banks are just microcosms of adult suffering, a distillation of bureaucratic reality.
When I finally regained my energy, I walked home and began thinking about how many people avoid banks entirely. My friend literally gets anxiety attacks when she sees a queue. She told me once, "I'd rather not resolve my issue than deal with the branch." And honestly, I understood her after yesterday.
Same. The moment you see 20 chairs and a screen with numbers jumping slowly like an old calculator, your soul leaves your body.
And the background noise. Printers printing things no one reads, people flipping documents, employees typing in a "this might break the system" tempo, the sound of people sighing like they're signing a contract with destiny.
The atmosphere is a mixture of "I'm responsible," "I'm confused," and "I want to go home."
Exactly. But here's the interesting part. After hours of torture, it becomes funny. You become numb enough to see the humor in it. Like at some point, I started imagining the bank as a Netflix drama. Episode 1, The Queue. Episode 2, The Missing Consultant. Episode 3, Return of the Binder Lady. Episode 4, The Stamp of Destiny. Season finale, number 427 finally gets called.
I would absolutely watch that, especially if Spoon the cat makes an appearance.
Spoon would be the emotional backbone of the show.
But seriously, analyzing your day, what part of the bank experience makes you feel the most psychologically challenged?
The waiting room. Because it's the one place where time feels suspended. You have nothing to do but sit. If you read, you can't focus. If you scroll on your phone, you constantly check the number on the screen. Everyone is in the same limbo, breathing the same recycled air.
Limbo is the perfect word. Banks are liminal spaces. You're not exactly living your life, but you're not living it either. You're just existing.
Yes, and the design of the space doesn't help. Neutral colors, glass, plastic chairs, posters with smiling people who definitely never visited this branch in real life.
Those poster people are paid actors. They look like they've never experienced inconvenience.
And then there's the employee energy. One is super friendly, another one hates her job, another looks like he's planning to run away during lunch break and never come back, and yet they all somehow keep the place functioning.
The secret heroes of society.
When I finally got home, I lay on the couch and didn't move for 20 minutes. My brain needed a reboot. I kept replaying the waiting room in my mind, like a movie scene stuck on loop. But then I realized the day wasn't wasted. It was a reminder of patience, observation, and the strange beauty of ordinary situations.
You turned a bank visit into a philosophical journey. That's impressive.
Well, I have to transform the suffering into something meaningful, right? Otherwise, I'll just cry into my cappuccino.
So, final question. Will you go back to the bank anytime soon?
Absolutely not. If something needs fixing, I'll meditate, try online banking, then call customer service 5 times. But walking into that branch? Not for at least 6 months.
Understandable. Banks should give reward points for emotional endurance.
Honestly, they should. Congratulations, you survived 3 hours without screaming. Here's 20 loyalty points.
And a free pen.
A chained one, of course.
Naturally, they can't trust the emotionally exhausted people with freedom.
In the end, it was just a day at the bank, but the kind that teaches patience, clarity, observation, and the art of not punching anyone.
A modern spiritual retreat.
Exactly. Only with more paperwork.